Hello, dear teachers. My name is Anton Kolodochka, and I'm a student of BAM 719 VE. In the role of the manager, I chose Optimus Prime. So let's begin. Optimus is the main character of almost all animated series, comics, films, books, and video games about Transformers. He is the permanent leader of the Autobots. Among the main features of Optimus Prime are kindness and compassion, which extend to all living things, including the inhabitants of the Earth. He fights to protect the weak and those whose freedom is at stake. He is an excellent leader and manager because, thanks to his instructions, the team was able to defeat the eternal rival of the Decepticons. There are some reasons why Optimus is a great manager. First of all, he is a good planner. Optimus has a clear goal, thanks to which he gets rid of the plan with sub-points for early success. Second is motivating. For his team, he is the leader, and he motivates his team primarily through his actions, and they simply have no option but to follow him. They are confident in him and that he can die for them. And one of his favorite phrases is serving with you is an honor for me. Third is controlling and organizing. In his team, each member will fulfill his role. They are a mini army with their own infantry, aviation, doctor, and huge arsenal of weapons. And Optimus, as a true leader, successfully copes with organizing and controlling their actions. We can see this from the results of their battles, and there were quite a few of them, and mostly the Autobot team emerged victorious even in their worst situations. Here you can see my Gantt chart, and there I showed how I'm studying German with this chart. So, in order to be unique, the manager must use all the functions of management. And as we can see, Optimus use all of them. So first is planning, and one main role of manager is creating a plan to meet a company goals and objectives. This involves allocating employee resources and delegating responsibilities, as well as setting realistic timelines and standards for completion. Optimus is one of the best strategists in the comics, helping to keep his team safe in tough battles. Second, organizing. It is a process of bringing together physical, financial, and human resources and developing productive relationships amongst them for achievement of organizational goals. In his team, each fighter has a role to play, and all their strengths lies coherence because individually they would not be able to withstand their enemies. Third, controlling. In order to improve the efficiency of the function, they worked on the way to the success of the company. As the managers were guilty of continuous control over the efficiency of their robotics. As a true leader, he had a clear goal and plan of achievement, and each fighter had a role in it, and he successfully managed his squad and reached new heights. And fourth one is motivating. It is the process of inducing the employees of an organization to act and predetermined desired manner so as to achieve organizational goals. For me, Optimus is one of the strongest motivators in the whole film industry, and only by his appearance and charisma he could force even the most rebellious to take his side. And I generally keep quiet about his team. Optimus, by his example, doesn't allow other team members to be idle. An open system is characteristic of a constantly changing external environment and constantly evolving market. In this case, management processes are built depending on repeatedly changing tasks and events that are difficult to foresee. Management in an open system is based on creative, innovative understanding of relationship and interdependence of elements, subsystems, and the entire system as a whole with external environment. So my character runs an open systems because his team lives in a world where their survival depends on external factors. And thanks to the surrounding factors, Optimus has become a strong leader who is ready to lead his team through everything he went through. In any case, he will adjust plans for the circumstances that the world will prepare for him. And contingency approach for Optimus Prime. Uh, I will be comparing Optimus to not the most synonymous character. This is Jordan Belfort of Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street. In my view, his company, like any other, can be compared to a family or the same team or army. Therefore, these leaders have both many similarities and many differences. So let's move to similarities. Optimus Prime is a leader of Autobots. He fights to protect the weak and those whose freedom is at stake. And he's ready to do anything to keep his team, that is his family, safe. And Jordan Belfort, he is the manager and leader of his company. For him, members of the company are family who cannot take a step without him, sacrifices his interests to keep the company and members. As you can see, they have a lot of similarities. And let's move to difference. First of all, I want to note that both characters are in different positions. The first is a warrior who fights all his life, and the second is an entrepreneur. And changing their places is not known how they would behave. Optimus pursues goals related to battles, for example, to win without losses, to destroy the enemy, etc. And Jared is a commercial person that is he's primarily interested in earning money, and he created the company primarily for the stake of money, but in the end he began to acquire value values. As a result, we can see that these characters differ completely, but still they are very similar in their leadership qualities. Objectives. The main objective of Optimus Prime is to preserve peace in the universe, not only on Earth, but also on his home planet Cybertron. To achieve this goal, Optimus performs the following tasks. First, he keeps constant contact with his teams so that he and they are prepared for unforeseen circumstances. And second, Optimus gives all his strength and health to preserve the world. He even sacrificed himself in one of the episodes. And the second goal of Optimus can be called the preservation with all the forces of his family, so his team. I cannot single out specific tasks to achieve this because all his actions are aimed at this from dawn to dusk. The third thing I can call is trying to establish contact with people. To achieve this, he learns the local language, becomes a part of the USA Army, obeys the government, all this, so that people would consider him allies. Although before that it was clear that he wasn't an enemy. At the cost of his life, he protects Sam, the main character of the film, and in the end becomes his good friend. Values of Optimus Prime. First, his character in the animated series Optimus Prime is a knight without fear or reproach. The ideal commander of the Autobots. It is devoid of flaws. Subordinates are loyal to him and proud to act and fight under his direction. As I said earlier, his team is confident in him because Optimus for many years the Warrior proved that there is no stronger Transformer than he is. Second, we can also notice that Optimus treats all beings in the universe equally. He is sure that everyone has the right to life, and the fact that the strong is obliged to protect the weak, as is the case in his case. And in the end, he respects everyone for worldly deeds and not for empty words. Also, a very important feature of him is that he isn't inferior to his principles. For all the series of film, we can see that there were many temptations to change ourselves and go to the side of evil, just as we see how those from whom he take an example took the other side. External environment. The first important event I want to note is the arrival of the Autobots, led by Optimus to Earth. They are faced with a completely different habitat. They begin to think differently. Both his and their first task was to establish contact with people, which in the end was crowned with success. And the second important event I consider the part of the film in which the Autobots were outnumbered by hundreds of enemies against their small squad, and Optimus was able to convince the ancient Transformer to take their side with the help of his diplomacy skills and, of course, his strength. And last one is indirect external environment. I think the main factor of indirect external environment is relationships between Optimus and people and other Transformers. And these relationships help him to oppose all the series of films. People and Transformers have become one and can no longer exist without each other. And Optimus was the connecting link in these relationships. I also want to highlight one person, and his name is Sam. Without his actions, not a single important event took place. Only thanks to him, the Autobots were able to resurrect Optimus. So thank you for your attention.